Hey fellow classic gamers, having a little trouble hooking up your Atari, Coleco, or Intellivision or modern day HDTV with only HDMI jacks on board? Well, this little rose gold color box here just might be the answer. Yes indeed, here it is, an RF to HDMI analog TV receiver converter, also known as an RF demodulator with an HDMI jack output on it. This particular box is crucial if you want to play your 1970s or 1980s home video game system on a modern day HDTV, especially most of today's HDTVs that only have HDMI inputs and none other of any other system. So for this particular device here I picked up for about 30 bucks on eBay out of China. Of course, you could also pick it up through HDTVsupply.com as well as a few merchants on Amazon. I recommend HDTVsupply.com if you ask me, because they're domestically available through there. Well, when I got it on eBay, it came in this orangeconics.com package right here, bulk package right here. It came bulk in this factory seal right here, and it also included a power supply right here. Of course, this one has the US plugs on here, and it has a mini coax right here, as well as, of course, full instructions right here in both English and in Chinese both. Of course, you can see here English and Chinese both, and a full featured remote control here that controls almost all the functions you're going to need on this particular unit in order to be able to operate it on an HDTV. Now, of course, the back of it here happens to have your HDMI input here, as well as, of course, your power supply jack here, but it also has another antenna jack here. This antenna jack here is not a standard 75 ohm coax adapter like what we have here in the United States. This happens to be a European PAL antenna particular connector, and of course it's mostly used on PAL antenna TV systems throughout the UK, Europe, and Australia. And if you want to hook up a home video game system that happens to be one of these RCA jacks, in this case, it happens to be my Atari 5200 here, which I'm hooking up here for this particular review. You're going to need one of these. This one here has an RCA jack on one end of it, and on the other end, it happens to have the PAL antenna plug you're going to need for this particular device. Now, with the home video game systems here, it'll work with the Atari 2600, Atari 5200, provided it's the 2-port jack system, or Atari 7800, XE game system, Atari home computer, or ColecoVision, or any Intellivision system, or any other system that has an RCA plug on here. Well, you plug this into this adapter here, and then you plug this back here, of course, on the antenna jack right here. There you go. It's all hooked up, ready to go. Next, you take an HDMI jack, or an HDMI plug, right here, which is normally used on most HDTVs now these days for high fidelity components, or home theater components. Plug it in right back here, just like that. And of course, you got your power supply, of course, already hooked up to the system. So let's fire her up and see what she can do, shall we? Well, we got her all hooked up. Let's see how she works. As we turn on the remote control here, using the power button, you can see here it's a snowy picture by default. Of course, you can also set it for a blue background, but here's the way you get it off the default Chinese display to an English display. Watch right here. You go to the sports set menu right here. You go to the sports menu, click downward for OSD, then click the right directional button right here. Click the right directional button yet again, and there you go. You're all set from Chinese to English, and everything should be a piece of cake after that. As we continue on here, we'll get the display mode here, on the settings right here. And of course, you want to set up for, here in the United States it will be NTSC, so we'll set it up off of PAL to NTSC. And I like to have it at 720p so I can have better graphics with my vintage video game systems. Well, there you go. She's all set for it. And now we go to the other settings here. Picture adjustment. You've got your fair share of color, tint, brightness, and contrast controls on here. As well as, of course, a color temperature setting. Also, you have your TV menu here for your auto scan, manual scan, and sound systems, of course. One thing under sound systems you have to note, you want to keep it off DK. Whatever you do, keep it off DK. I like to use the M sound system myself. And as we go here, of course, we go back to the next menu here. As we, well, I kind of like did a little here and there. As you can see here, here's a volume and balance and stereo controls here. Here's your displays, of course, that we just mentioned earlier on. And, of course, you got the system on and system off time settings for the time and calendar and things like that. I don't normally use those, but anyhow, here's how you turn on your vintage video game system to our modern day HDTV. Now just watch, shall we? First of all, before you run the scan, make sure you power on your video game console. In this case, it's my Atari 5200, and I already have Pac-Man loaded up and ready to go. Now, you press the center button here, the menu button. It takes you to picture adjustment. You want to go to the second menu here, a TV menu, run the auto scan, click the right directional button, and then click it again right here. You see it scans through megahertz frequencies. As a matter of fact, you just picked up your favorite video game system just right now. And you are all set to play Pac-Man. Now you can adjust the picture, brightness, tint, and contrast controls to your favorite likings and only have an effect whenever's hooked up to this particular device without messing up any of your other components that may be hooked up to your HDTV. But anyhow, you're all set to play Pac-Man or any other video game system. But remember, if you're going to hook it up to a home theater receiver, I recommend you have her set to 720p or 1080p on the TV first before switching it over to the home theater receiver, as my home theater receiver has a tendency of going haywire on me whenever you switch modes from 720 to 1080 or vice versa. But anyhow, let's power up, shall we? There you go. Just enjoy this. I gotta tell you, I love playing video games on this modern HDTV and things like that. But here's another treat for you. Of course, it shows on 16:9 display here. But here's what happens when you want to go old school. There is a 4-3 button on the particular bottom of this particular remote control here. Now, in order to get to that, there you go. You're all set for old school display right here. A 4-3 ratio. Excuse the border there on the right there. But anyhow, if you wanted to play old school 4-3 style, you've got that. Of course, you want to stretch it out. Don't hit the 16:9 button because that doesn't operate on this particular remote. Hit the full button instead, and you'll stretch it out right there, right back to where you came from. But obviously, it has a lot of great controls on here. Picture adjustment, you can adjust the tint, the brightness, the contrast, the color, of course, in its own way. Really a lot of great features on this particular one. Everything you used to see in the old TVs, you'll see on this fully featured remote control right here. I gotta tell you, it's well worth it, and I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up for this particular unit. That's what I have to say about it. I think it's a terrific device, and it's well worth the investment. The $29 on eBay out of China, or you get it through HDTVsupply.com domestically for about $70. I have the link to it, as well as, of course, the antenna plug adapter you're going to need to hook up your favorite arcade system to the PAL antenna jack of this particular device. I have the link there as well. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and check out my other 2 YouTube channels, Big HMW TV and the Atari Report. And that's all I have to say right there. Well, guys, what do you think? That's our first ever episode of Ray Jack's Reviews. Of course, we're going to have many more episodes in the short future as well. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. Also, don't forget to check out my other 2 YouTube channels. You'll find those in the featured channels list at the bottom of this particular channel's homepage. I highly recommend you check them out and subscribe to them as well. We can use all the subscribers we possibly get. Well, that's all I have to say for now. So if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, this is Ray Jackson. Peace out, everybody.